think the question we've all been wondering at this point in the game with everything going on in the world is, when exactly is Bitcoin going to break its all-time high again, which is sitting around approximately $74,000. Now, you don't have a crystal ball, or I don't have a crystal ball. But luckily for you, I did some back testing that gives me a generally broad idea, or a very educated guess here, that will help me determine around roughly when Bitcoin will break its all-time high again. And the good news is it's close. Now, before I get to that, I want to go over some of the back testing, some of the numbers, and some of the previous halving dates, and ultimately how long it took for after each halving for a bull market to officially start. So these numbers are actually quite interesting. I'm going to make this a fairly quick video, but you should probably understand how close we are and how after each halving some things happen. And then, of course, the biggest anomaly of all is this last halving, it already broke the all-time high prior to it actually happening, which has never happened before. It's actually quite wild. So these predictions are just that. They're predictions. It's kind of fun to guess. We've been sitting kind of coiling up around the all-time high for about 2 months now, 64, 65 days. And I know some of us are getting impatient and trying to figure out when it's finally going to break that resistance of 74,000. But let's take a look at some of these dates and some of these numbers as I was doing my back testing this morning, and it might give us a really good idea of when this is actually going to happen. So November 28th, 2012 was the very first Bitcoin halving. The price of Bitcoin at that time was $1,149, and it took 930 days, which is a long time, until the bull market started. The next bull market, rather. On July 9th of 2016 was the second Bitcoin halving. Price of Bitcoin at that time was only $632, but it was only another 258 days until the next bull market started. Now, that's a huge drop-off, but we fast forward to the 2020 halving, which happened on May 8th. Price of Bitcoin at that time was $9,846. Pretty big jump. And it took approximately 167 days after that, when we were all locked down with COVID, for that bull run to officially happen, and lasted for more than a year. Now, most recent Bitcoin halving, which took place on April 19th, 2024, not too long ago, the price of Bitcoin was at $65,481. And again, remind you that the previous all-time high back before the crash that happened in 2022, end of 2022, was about 64,000. So this is the first time in history where we actually had an all-time high prior to the halving. So this is kind of wild, and because it did that, it kind of throws off all the previous calculations and kind of using back testing to guess where we might go in the future, but there's no guarantee, obviously, of where things are going to go. But if I use the law of averages, I look at all the halvings and the amount of time that it actually took for each of these things to happen, I'm looking at approximately 91 days from the date of the halving, which means, dun dun dun, our official date that I believe that we will have a new all-time high by is around July 18th, 2024. Now I'm shooting this mid-June of 2024, and that's really just a few short weeks away, but since we've sort of already been going sideways for a couple of months already, I know some people are getting impatient. During this time, there's a lot of things that are actually going on, geopolitical stuff, an upcoming election, high inflation, interest rates still remain high, so, the stock market's at an all-time high. Everything appears to be financially booming from an investing side and a risk asset side, but the problem is the rest of the world is going through a lot of pain and a lot of financial woes, if you will. All that aside, if we take a look at Bitcoin and we're wondering what's going to happen next, honestly, a black swan could happen. We all could get nuked and die. I mean, obviously, I hope that doesn't happen, but my point is that literally anything can happen. But if things stay and continue going on the way that they are now, it's likely that by mid-July, we'll hit a brand new all-time high, and that will kind of kick off the second phase of this bull market. Most people don't know that we actually started this bull market that we're currently in right now back in January of 2023. So it's been going on quite a while, and it's really taken, 557 days or so, give or take, for it to go from the lows, which is around 16,000-ish, all the way up to the all-time high of 74,000. So things in this last cycle have been very different. Now, myself and a lot of other people have predicted that we're going to hit six-figure Bitcoin before the end of this current bull market that we're right in the middle of. Now, my best guess is that's going to be sometime in late 2024 or early 2025. I would love to be wrong. I would love for it to happen, basically before that. But looking at the numbers, looking at how long it previously took for these halvings before we officially started the bull market, it's really interesting to see how that time just goes down and down and down and down. The problem with this year, of course, is that not only were we already in a bull market prior to the all-time high or prior to the halving, it took all that time, almost a year and a half to completely break out of this and get into an all-time high. And that all-time high, again, first time it's ever happened prior to a halving. There are some analysts that are predicting that Bitcoin will hit 120, 180, or possibly $215,000 this cycle. I would love that to happen. More realistically, I do think it'll hit between the 120 and the 150 range. Again, this all depends on what's going on in the world, what's going on with the wars, what's going on with the election, what's going on with interest rates, what's going on with inflation, all plays a part in that. But I think it was an interesting concept that I kind of looked through and spent some time looking at how long after these halvings did it really take to consolidate sideways before we went parabolic and started going into a massive uptrend. And starting at 930 days, down to 258 days, down to 167 days. Based on that, if we deduce it's about 91 days from the halving, which took place on April 19th, 2024, we're getting close. Those times just keep getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And it really kind of makes me think what's going to happen with the 2028 Bitcoin halving and the 2032 Bitcoin halving. Things are about to get wild, but all that to say is I'm counting on around July 18th. Again, I could be wrong. It'll be interesting to kind of come back to this video and to make another one around that date to see if I was right, to see if I was wrong. Again, who knows? I can't predict the future, but this is my closest estimation. Thought I would share it with you guys. So if you like this video and you want more content like this, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And then if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, click on this one right here on your screen. And I will see you guys next time. Crypto Renegade out.